Well, welcome you. I guess this is half of the group that will be here around lunchtime, I guess. We expect 35 people. My name is Kees Donkers. I would like to have a short introduction to what we do and what the goals are for today, but I guess Arina can explain the program because she is very much involved the last 3 months. This is the scheme you found in your post, in your email. And she will explain it a little bit more. My goal is to tell something about, not about me, but I'm an urban designer from Eindhoven, from the city in the south, and I'm running a program that's called City as a Laboratory to work with students internationally from, let's say, 2003, so already more than 10 years. The last years more with Russia. And if I have to explain what we do, and what we'd like to do, then I can only use this picture because it shows the new generation of people that's very important also in the profession of urban planning and urban design. I'm a little bit older than you are, and the thing is that I would like to share my knowledge and my experience with you. And what you see in IsoCarp internationally is that we also have a lot of people with a lot of experience in the board, the EXCO, but also in the local organizing committee that we have in the Netherlands to organize this event. All of them are filled with experience, filled with knowledge. And the thing is that this year, the 50th anniversary of IsoCarp, we would like to focus a little bit more on you, on the younger generation. So we call that young planners in the lead, or young professionals in the lead. Because if you look at the future, you see that at the moment the profession is changing a lot. So there's a lot of changing going on. But also, if we want to continue IsoCarp organization, we should focus on new people. Not people from 60 or 65 years and older, but you. So the thing is that we would like to focus on the next generation. That's why 2 years ago, when I started to become, let's say, member of IsoCarp, we had this meeting in Rotterdam preparing the 50th anniversary, and we said we'd like to do this in the Netherlands again. But IsoCarp, it started 50 years ago in the Netherlands, in Eindhoven. The architect of the university, he was the founder of IsoCarp. And after 50 years, it would be nice to have a new generation for a new phase in time, for a new future. So that's why I guess we only need this picture to show what's going on. This is a picture from what's going on in my city, Eindhoven. It's called the Four Apostelen. They reused an empty church in the city to build up their own company after graduation. What you see is young people are studying, and after graduation sometimes they fall in a black hole, they call it, how to build up your future. What we see in Eindhoven is that young people stay in Eindhoven and build up their own companies, small companies from scratch, let's say. And the first 5 years after graduation, they are very important for your future. What we see is that we have beautiful new communities, like you see also here, build-up communities, breeding places, we call it, where people find each other and start to cooperate without having a job, let's say, but with a lot of ideals and ideas. So that's why these people got the opportunity to reuse this empty church, 4 of them, to start their own company and to really start their future. And what the first thing they did was to organize a Last Supper, they called it. The Last Supper as the official Last Supper, let's say. But here you can see the 12 apostles. They invited 8 other friends, 8 other talents to join them in this effort. And it was the most beautiful dinner I ever had, because it shows, and it showed to a lot of people during the Dutch Design Week in Eindhoven, the talents and the skills of a younger generation. So for me, this picture could be the image, or let's say the icon of your generation. That's why I like to show this picture and to inspire you to do your message, to do your work as selected professionals. That's why you are here, for different reasons, and Arina will explain it more in the next 15 minutes. But it's more to inspire you to go on with what you do and to work especially during the workshops in October, but also to work today and to find out how your message could be sent to other people, to other people in your generation. This is the third meetup. We had already two. The first one was in Eindhoven, the second one was in Groningen, and this is the third one. These meetups are invented, let's say, 1 year ago to have a sort of a startup, to get the feeling, to get the vibes towards this Congress in October, and to inspire you to other people from your generation to use social media, to use Facebook, to get them involved. And the thing is that we would love to see you back in October during these workshops in those 12 cities. So if every city could have at least 50 young people involved in those workshops, then we have a lot of people involved in this IsoCarp conference this year. So then the 50th anniversary could be the start of a new age, let's say, the start of a new period. And that's what we are aiming for, all of us. So the third meetup is the next 2 days in this beautiful atmosphere here. I hope you like it, because it's a symbol of a new generation. It's a symbol of a new society. We call it Society 2.0, and it starts here. So feel the inspiration, feel the vibes of this place, feel the vibes of your presentation here, of the presentations of 12 cities today, and tomorrow we will gather the results. I have some slides, but I would like to go through this. This is the image of a lot of people that are involved, boys and girls, in the Design Week in Eindhoven, the Design Week. It's the same period in October, so if you have time free, of course you will come to Eindhoven the 17th of October. So you get the inspiration of the Design Week. You find these places also in Eindhoven, Collaboration O. We also went to Russia, at least I did, in 2010, and now I've been there 26 times, and we cooperated with Russia in conferences and things like that. We even organized the first Brabant Biennial to cooperate with Russian professionals about this 2.0 society. So these are the cities, and this is what I like to end with, this Team 10. To do this, to get your generation involved, we formed a Team 10. We called it Team 10 because in 1930 we had also this Team 10 in the architecture changes that were going on in the last century. This is, well, it sounds a bit like a joke, but I think it's very important to have 10 very talented people, talented young people involved in what we do here in this program. And a few of them are here. Anna is here, Anna van Strien. Arina is here, and Arina did a lot of work, and Aniela is here too. They did a lot of work, and they will show you their work, their talents in the program for today. So first of all, Arina, she is the most of all involved in this, so yes, you are important, you are very important. So I would give the floor to you to explain what you did and to tell about the program. Yeah?
I just shortly about the program, because
it's not shortly.
Actually we have our guest speakers.
Yeah.
Maybe it's small and you can't really see, but the idea of the 2 days is to make a binding between the 12 teams we have. So that means the 12 workshops should bind under the umbrella topic of the Congress, and also to get the motivation and the inspiration to think and approach the challenges that the workshops are dealing with in a different way. So in this order, we have carefully selected very special guest speakers that we have invited for this special day, that can tell a story about the work they do and their projects they're involved in, which can actually make you think with a new perspective and from a new dimension. So the program will facilitate in the morning hours 2 guest lecturers. One is Diana Krabbendam, sorry for my poor Dutch pronunciation, Krabbendam, and she's the director of the Beach Company. And the second guest lecturer is Vincent Wittenberg, and he's the founder of Gewilde Grey. The Wild Green, is it? Okay, good, thank you. Then around 12 o'clock, hopefully we have a lunch. After that, our general rapporteur is here already, flying directly from London. So she will be joining us after lunch at 1 o'clock. After 1 o'clock, she will say her short welcome and her vision about the Congress and the general concept of the topics. And then our young planners, which worked very hard to prepare the ambitions of the 12 workshops, they will pitch their ambitions and each of them in 5 minutes. After which we will have an open discussion within the workshops, free-flow open discussion and reflection on these pitches. Then at around 3 o'clock we will have the coffee break, and after the coffee break we have another guest lecturer coming from ATH Technical University from Zurich. He's leading the Urban Think Tank Lab. So he will be talking about projects they do there, because we also aim to include local guests, but also, if we can, international guests as well. So this is our international dimension we bring in today. After he speaks, we will have another coffee break, and then after the coffee break, you're welcome to divide in teams based on a workshop and do your preparations for your next steps. So then we wrap up the day around 7 o'clock in the night with dinner, and after that we will relax a bit. So that is the agenda for the day. Thank you very much all for coming and for all your great work you do. We really appreciate it a lot, and we really hope that this will be a great and changing Congress, which already has been buzzing around a lot. So I just to briefly tell you, compared to the last 3 years, this Congress has 3 times more subscribed participants by the end of the summer. So that means by now we already have 350. So the the interest is quite high. It's the originality of the work we do is so it's already recognized. So I encourage you all to work very hard, and then we present great end results that will actually make some kind of change, not just an empty talk. So I would invite Diana now to come and share her projects with us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Diana Krabbendam. Thank you for switching the presentations. I was planned to speak a little bit later. So hopefully the program is not too much mixed up now. But I would like to talk today about proximity. And later on you will hopefully understand why. First, I will introduce myself a little bit. I'm trained as a designer and an architect, not as an urban planner, so that's not my background. But we are involved in a new kind of urban planning today. So this one? Yes. The beach. Around 10 years ago we started the beach. Not in the first place as a company or an institution, but more as a platform. Actually, it's just came up because we started doing some projects together with Michiel Schwartz, a sociologist, and somebody with a business background. And we were interested in how we could design for social innovation. Design as a new kind of practice 10 years ago. It was quite new to think about design processes that were not business related or related to a specific purpose. So we decided to redesign design, and that's what the beach does. Why? Well, we as designers, or well, I was the designer in the team, but we started from this design idea. As designers, we thought well, a lot of things are in transformation. 10 years ago, we saw the signs of a lot of complex issues coming up, and the idea was that design and design processes could play a role in this societal transformation. But what it meant and where all these transformations were all about, it took some more time to find out. But we took our time, because that's what we wanted to do. We did research, but at the same time we were designers, so we were doing design research. So that's why we started the beach. And we also knew, well, I have a background in design and I was leading design agencies before. What I knew is that I didn't want to have a big team or an institution or something that needs a lot of effort to sustain, but more a network of people where people go in and out, and where we could use the strength and the power and the energy and the skills, etc., of the people working with us. So it was very important to start as a networked platform. And then, when you start doing things, you need place. And that's very important, became more and more important in our work. The role of place, the role of where you are. And we started working, well, it was not on purpose, but that's where we were at that time, in Amsterdam Nieuw-West. It's, well, it's quite far from the center of Amsterdam. An area where, well, designers and, well, many people working and living in the center don't go. It's not a very sexy place. But that time we, in Amsterdam Nieuw-West, we also were part of developing a program of broedplaatsen, like, well, creative hotspots, like this, to start up some hubs where creative people could work together. And that's where we started ourselves, in Garage Notweg in Amsterdam Nieuw-West, in the Wildeman neighborhood. The neighborhood is called Wildeman. So that name will come up later many times. And what do we do as designers? Well, in short, we call it design for social and sustainable innovation, and I will explain more about it. The design processes are, the characteristics of our design processes are that there are co-design processes. So co-design is what we do. We do have a very small core team of most of them young design and professionals, and also urban planners are now part of our team. But we work with core partners from various backgrounds, like Michiel Schwartz, who is a sociologist, Paunetje de Winter, architects, urban planners, Creative Interventions Amsterdam, more social, political oriented designers, goods design, crafts and design related, Urbania Hoeve, urban agriculture experts, Amsterdam Smart City and Alliander technical related partners, and many local partners, and many more partners. I just mentioned a few. Well, maybe you wondered yourself, why are we called the beach? It's a metaphor, and we were inspired by Charles Leadbeater. The time we started our collaboration, he was writing his book, We Think. And we think, well, there was, and he came up with this quote about beaches. And yeah, we thought that, yeah, that's exactly what we are. It's about how people can gather together, and how people can together they can make their own play, their own rules, and make a place where they are. So that's where we are. The beach, self-regulating. Of course, sometimes we have to define our rules. So it's not just, well, without any frames or any rules, but it's very open. Yeah, what's driving us, what's inspiring us? I already told that the transformation, societal transitions were the driver of starting up the beach. And then we started wondering ourselves, what is shifting actually? What are the values that are shifting? Of course, there is a tradition of modernist design approaches, modernist planning approaches, very much based on scaling up, efficiency, linear processes, etc., etc. And we all know that that is not really working well anymore. So we're looking for something else. But we see a lot of new initiatives coming up around us. It's everywhere. But they are very different. Sometimes it's about local markets. Sometimes it's about urban agriculture. Sometimes it's about collaborative consumption. There are many, many initiatives, but they are all actually part of one new movement. They are the same. They are related. So it was a matter of finding out what is binding them, what's connecting them. And then we thought, well, maybe that's what's missing in a lot of debates about new times, the new era that's coming up. What is driving us, and what do we as designers and urban planners need in our briefs, in our design briefs? What do we take on in our design process? Not as something that we add on later, but something that we take with us from the beginning. And that's what really changes the design process in all its aspects. So that's what we have to find out all together. And we are in this situation for years now, but we are still learning a lot and struggling a lot and working with a lot of people, students, etc., to learn more about these new design processes. Because there is a new set of values coming to life. And what are those values? Well, we see that the shift is meaning, for instance, that from a more centralized approach, it's more networked. Well, this whole conference is a nice example. It's very networked. From top down to bottom up, it seems to be very obvious now, but to many, many people it's not. We know, especially in urban planning, it's very hard to find people that are open to this shift. Instead of transactions, it's more about relationships, from function to meaning, from linear to circular. Less is more, becomes do more with less, and from globalized to place-based. Do you all recognize this so far? Hopefully. Yeah. We call this, you see something, a new word over there, sustainist. We call it sustainist design. And we were inspired by Sustainism Manifesto. It was a book, a manifesto by Michiel Schwartz, one of my partners, and Joost Elvers, designer from New York. They made this manifesto to make the first, well, it was a first effort to to capture this new era, because we all know the modernist era and it has a name, modernism. So they thought, well, it could be helpful to give it a name, this new movement. And then they decided, well, let's try to call it Sustainism, or they called it Sustainism. It's just a word, but it's a word that brings things together. So that's what we used in our next phase to think about what this new era is. And we could say it is a new culture. What does it mean, a new culture? Not culture in the sense of art or something like that, but culture in the sense of how we look at our world and what we value and how we want to live our lives. So that's what we mean by culture. It's very important to understand this word of culture. Then we thought, well, this change of perspective, this new lens on how we can look at our lives and our world means that we also need a new ethos, for how we act, because that's what we do. We try to act and to go into a certain direction, and that's how we act. That new ethos is needed for people working in everywhere, in science, in businesses, in education, in public services, in politics, in design, etc. So that's easy said, but how? How are we going further? And then we decided to make this book, the Sustainable Design Guide, as a first attempt to, not as a guide that says how, but more as a guide to make the first steps, to start a debate about what is it? What is this kind of new design? Where is it all about? What are the shared values we are looking for, or the shared values that are popping up? And well, we dived a little bit deeper in a few of them. We thought that are important in what's going on today. Values like sharing, localism, connectedness, and proportionality, and how they altogether are creating a new agenda for designers, but also for urban planners, or for people that are interested in creating new processes. And when we talk about design, that's what also came up when we made this book, is that design becomes more than a profession. Well, I'm trained as a designer, so it's a profession. But when you talk about co-design, also people that are not in the first place trained as designers are part of design processes. So design or co-design becomes something that is more common or more part of our lives. It's more a mentality than just some professional skills. So we are in the phase that we need action. Well, it was told by Piotr, I think it's his name. It's one of the words I heard. Action, and I think that's important. There's a lot of debate and a lot of talking about what we should do, but how do we act? Well, for this new kind of processes we need new skills, 21st century skills, and that's what we do as the beach in the context, the local context of the neighborhood in Amsterdam West, Wilderman. And well, this is let's say schematic overview of what we think is important in the design process. Focus on community, the people, the organizations, the people you collaborate with, you co-create with, and that's not just finding some people, but it's also growing together. It's also learning skills together. It's learning from each other. It's finding talent. It's making teams that work. So making community is one part. Making a lab, testing out our design processes, the way we work, developing methodology. We got a lot of questions after this book, which is just some kind of first inspirational guide. Tell us how. What are your methods? How can we do it? Of course, we are doing design every day, so we do have a lot of experience and skills, and in our network we work with a lot of people that do the same. So we thought that we should bring things together. So that's why we decided to work on this as well, making a toolkit. We do a lot of workshops. We learn a lot from our own practice. That's the lab, and to share all what we learned with others, but also to learn from others. The stage or podium is also part of it. So it's a lot about sharing. It's about working together. It's about trial and error. But it's doing and thinking at the same time. Wilderman. Wilderman neighborhood is a neighborhood in Amsterdam, around 8,000 people living there. And this neighborhood was planned to be redesigned and rebuilt. It is Amsterdam West is a garden city. So it was built 60 years ago. Some people say, well, this is very important cultural heritage. Some people say, well, it doesn't work anymore. So there was, at one time, around, well, let's say till 8 years ago, there was a huge redevelopment of this area. But this specific neighborhood was not redeveloped, because then the crisis came. Just the moment they should start redeveloping this neighborhood, the crisis came, so nothing happened. So all the people living there were, of course they were disappointed. They expected to get new houses, everything fresh and new and better, but it didn't happen. So there was, it was not just a crisis in the neighborhood for the specific of the people living there, but also it almost became a political crisis, because the people were not. There was a lot of distrust. So the people lost trust in institutions, and not just the government, but all institutions. So there was a lot of negative energy in this neighborhood. We came there in 2009, working in that building. You can see over there. It's a former garage, and now it's a creative hotspot. So we are in the middle of this neighborhood, and this is now we are in the shared in the neighborhood garden, a temporary garden. You can see the garage, and next to the building is garden, and this is Lucas community. It's a former school, and now some people from the neighborhood are starting up their small businesses there. It's very small. It's very, it's very in the very first phase, but there is something going on there, and because it's all connected and people are inspiring each other, it becomes stronger in a quite fast speed. So the last few years, a lot of things changed, and we can even see it in the official numbers, like how people value the neighborhood, etc., etc. So this is, for people who do not know, this is the center of Amsterdam. We are here now, I think, at the Keuvel, and that's where the Wilderman is. Oh, actually, it's here. It's a little bit. But so you can see it's quite far from the city center. It takes at least half an hour by bike to go there. So it's not a place where many people like to go. So that's a quality in itself. I told you a little bit. I told about the qualities of the quality of the people. The qualities of the people are important. The people living there, but also the qualities of open space, but also maybe that this area is abandoned by the urban planners, by the people that are now focusing on new activities, etc. So there is space in many aspects. Space is very important to this kind of processes, because when you are working in a context where people live, and that's what makes it very different from where we are now. This is a very nice hotspot creative space, but people are not living here. There, people are living in that neighborhood, and it needs time and space to develop. You cannot say, well, let's change things from one day to another, and then everything will go well. It's very important to take people with you in these processes. So these are some children involved. We do a lot of projects with children too, and they're pointing out their playground. Well, I'll show you some pictures, and then we can talk further about what we're doing and how it works. Local garden, opening party, local garden, projects, smart textiles project with women, children designing together with a professional designer their playground. So this is a co-design process with the children, and this is what it is. Also citizen journalism, learning people, children, but also elder people to report about their own neighborhood is a very important part of the process. New techniques, new technology, 3D printing, 3D sculpting, making fun together. So we do some events, festivals, making things together. This is a music installation. Doing research in the neighborhood. Well, this is a model of the neighborhood, and doing research that involves the people from the neighborhood too. So not just the professionals, but also the people from the neighborhood, making visible what's going on. Oh, I'm missing one slide. No. Oh, here it is. You can see we visualized the process to involve the people that are part of it. So there's a lot of pictures, movies, drawings, etc. And doing a lot of sketching, layer by layer, again and again. Are there questions so far? Maybe about the neighborhood, maybe I didn't tell anything you want to know. Yeah?
Maybe how did you connect with the local neighbors, and how did you start up that process?
Yeah, well, when we were working there in that garage, so we were there all the time, and we met people when we went to the bakery, and yeah. So we were part of the neighborhood a little bit already, but then we started asking people, are you interested in, well, talking with us about how we can collaborate and how we can start up making this, well, we call it Mooi Wildeman, making this neighborhood a better neighborhood. And then we have invited some people, and we made flyers, and we put well, every flyer in every door. So we invited people, and then I think 5 people came. And one of them was an artist from Senegal, and one was a mechanic, and one was a lady. And so 5 people came for the first meeting. And then we thought, well, this is not enough. Maybe we need a little bit more. So we went to the school and we talked in the street to people, and we invited more people. And then more people came, and then we started doing things because people are not good at talking. Because when they start talking, they start complaining about institutions. It takes a long time to hear all the stories about what the institutions did wrong. So then we thought, yeah, we are designers, so we are creating things. So let's start the creating process from scratch. And then we started making posters with people about their ideas what should be done. And then great posters came up, and we helped them a little bit to glue things and to cut things. And then yeah, we had, I think, 6 posters. And still those posters are inspirational to us, because they were pointing at the things that should be should be worked on, like the green space. There is a lot of open green space, but it is it's not used. It is very poor used space. Because, well, of course, to make the cost as low as possible, the city doesn't invest too much in it, so it's not inspirational, and people throw their garbage in the bushes, and a lot of rats are coming, so there are a lot of rats in the neighborhood. So that's one. Play spaces for children to play. Around 25% of the people living there are under 16, so it's a lot of children in the neighborhood. Activities for elder people, 25% is over 65, so it's a very interesting neighborhood. So there were a lot of energy. There was people pay a lot for energy because the houses are old, so there are not they use a lot of energy because of the houses, but also because of people are not aware of how they use energy. Like, well, they keep on the television all day, and so they are not aware. They don't know how it works, and people are at home all day because I think 57% is unemployed. So many people are at home all day. So that was a topic, but it's not something you can start from scratch and say, well, let's solve this. No, everything was so complicated and so interrelated, so we couldn't start from there doing projects from day one. But it was a start, and then we started doing a lot of workshops to get to know the people better. Who are you? How can you contribute? Because you want something. What can be your role? Where are you good at? So we did a lot of workshops, and then we learned to know more people and how they could participate in the process. That's how it all started.